Today, we're going to be checking out the Draig pickup from Mr. Glyn's Pickups. So this was pretty cool. Mr. Glyn is based out of New Zealand, and he actually met up with my buddy who is a New Zealand pedal builder, Tony Peppers, who I've had a bunch of his stuff on the channel. They met up at an Emperor show in New Zealand, and he was like, "Hey, Tony, do you know anyone that would be able to demo this Doom pickup, the Draig I've been working on?" And Tony was like, "I got just the guy for you," which I'm touched he thought of me, and that's awesome. So, they got in touch with me. They asked if they could send me this to check it out. Told me it was a pickup focused on Doom players, which definitely really interested me because you don't see a lot of stuff, especially pickup wise, focused on Doom players. So it's definitely cool to see something, in that very niche market. So it's definitely a very cool looking pickup. You got the big blade on there and the pole pieces, and then the cover and everything are, they look like they've been burnt maybe by some dragon fire, which is kind of the idea, and I think it looks pretty cool. And so what are the features of this pickup? What makes it a Doom pickup exactly? Well, it's an Alnico 6 magnet, which is a little, most people go for like Alnico 5. That's pretty standard, or ceramic. So Alnico 6 is pretty interesting, and the idea there is he wanted to have something that was a little less compressed, pretty dynamic, especially because when you're going into walls of fuzz or gain stacking or anything like that, you're going to lose a lot of dynamics. So if you're going into something with a lot of compression, stuff can squish out, or you can lose a lot of the nuance of your playing. So this really does stay true to that. And something else that's very interesting is, you would think Doom players, right? Doom metal, big walls of fuzz, oscillating Doom, droning, huge sounds. So you would think that the pickups would be really hot, but actually that's not true. This is a relatively low output pickup, like medium low output pickup. It's definitely not like a PAF or anything like that, but it's definitely pretty low. And the reason that you want that is you don't want to be slamming into your fuzz pedals. You don't want to be hitting them just super hard with, from the pickup. Maybe you want to stack and hit it with an overdrive or something else, or even stack another fuzz on it. That's a whole other thing for gain stacking. You want to go in with typically a lower signal because, again, you're going to retain more dynamics. But if you're just hitting it super hard, a lot of fuzz pedals will actually squish out. They'll start to get kind of farty, and not in a good way that a lot of players might like. The kind of Velcro-y sound. And you don't want that. You don't want everything to fart out. You don't want it to be super hot either, because if you're tuned low, that can send more low frequencies than you might want through. Everything might lose clarity. So those are just a couple of reasons why you might want a bit lower of an output pickup. And the last pickup I had in here wasn't massively hot either. It was still more in the medium range, and that's definitely what I prefer from my Doom pickup. So this actually fit right at home for me. But what was really interesting was this feels like it's pushing a lot harder than it actually is. And that's because this thing is extremely mid-focused. So, mid-range, we're going to perceive that as louder, and when you're hitting something with a lot of mid-range, especially like an amplifier, it's going to distort more. You'll hear that when I go into the clean channel. Even though this thing isn't very hot, it's still kind of breaking up my clean channel a little bit because it's just really pushing those mids, and it really helps with the fuzz too, to add some, again, clarity, some cut, really drive it. So I think there's just a lot of good ideas in this thing that really ended up working. So that's enough talking about it. Let's actually hear this in the context of a mix, and then out of a mix, just playing around with it. We're going to be hearing this going into my Friedman BE50 Deluxe. You're going to hear it a bit in the in mix on just the BE channel, and then the higher gain tones are going to be the HBE channel. There's a couple moments with some cleans in there, and then we'll hear it on clean brown eye and high gain brown eye, all in the out of mix. But also, because this is a Doom pedal and it's designed around fuzz, I wanted to hit a fuzz pedal with it going into the clean channel of the BE50. And because Tony recommended this is a New Zealand builder, let's keep this all New Zealand. I'm going to have this hit the humongous fuzz just so we can hear how it does with that, because it's pretty sweet. Let's check it out. So I do really like the pickup a lot. It sounds great on fuzz. We're going to actually hear this more on the channel. I'm going to keep this in here in this guitar, and we're going to hear this on some fuzz demos I have coming up very soon. So you'll be able to hear it in the context of other fuzz pedals and not just this one. But it sounded great with the humongous fuzz. That thing is just absolutely a wall of disgusting nastiness. And it sounded really good just going into my Friedman without any pedals or anything like that. Even though it was low output, because of that mid-range, it was still able to drive everything really well, saturate really nicely. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. I think this thing is really well thought out for Doom players. And if you're playing anything like Doom or Sludge or Stoner or anything like that, and you're looking for a good pickup choice for your bridge pickup, I would say that this is a pretty good contender. It's kind of got all your bases covered, and you're going to be able to do a lot with it. So I'm going to have a link down below if you'd like to check this out or anything else that they have to offer. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.